Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and today I have a layout using page maps from August of 2020. I also pulled out this PhotoPlay collection, My Imagination, and I'm going to focus on some Legos. I don't have a lot of paper left, so I did pull out my Doodlebug Petite Prints and I pulled out this green linen paper. That is going to be the base of my layout. I'm going to use the full sheet and have some of it on the left and some of it on the right. I decide to cut down my photos first so that I can figure out how much I want on the left and right. These photos are from the July dark side, which I know I'm super late on. So for me, the dark side challenge is really more about making sure that I get the layouts planned. My process doesn't necessarily work well for me in regards to getting the layouts documented in the same month that I plan them for multiple reasons. One being that I do not print at home, I print at Walgreens mainly, and so I usually have to do a bulk printing, so I get all of the layouts planned and then print out the photos. And then two, I have about a bazillion things going on in my brain in regards to things that I want to get documented. And I definitely want to get these layouts documented, but I also have lots of other things that need to be documented as well, because if not, my brain would probably explode. So I have my green paper down as well as the Lego paper. So I pull out my T-square ruler once I get my photos placed down and realize that I wanted to cut that green paper at 5 inches. I also have this Lego paper that I thought I was going to put a much larger piece on the left and right, but I decided to just go ahead and cut that piece that I have on the far right in half and use that. Then I pulled out this red cardstock and pulled out my border punch in the small scallop. Once I get it all punched out and cut apart, I lay it down on the layout and quickly realize I did not like it. I felt like it had too much of a girl vibe to it, and I didn't like the way that the holes were there, so the Legos were sticking out, and it just was a no for me. So then I decided to pull out this other scalloped border punch that I have, and I cut that border out and laid it on top of the green linen paper and immediately was like, yep, I like this a lot better. So I go ahead and cut out a second one for the left-hand side of the layout as well. And as it stands right now, it does look very Christmassy with that green and red, but once I get everything down, it will start to look less Christmassy. As I'm getting this paper down, let me just explain the photos a little bit. These photos were pulled out from the July Dark Side Challenge, and had I not been doing that challenge, I would have never scrapbooked these photos. I will link the July video here so that you can see the process of pulling these photos out. These photos were actually on my mom's Facebook, and they are photos of Eli and one of the foster kids where they had done a scavenger hunt in one of our downtown areas. Where we're located, there's three kind of major cities, the city I live in, as well as the two cities next to us. And they're close enough that we're able to go to that downtown area. And there's all kinds of events that are in that downtown area. For this particular event, the boys went to all of the different stores that were in the downtown area and they were doing a scavenger hunt. They had to find different things that were a part of the scavenger hunt, and they actually ended up winning a small Lego set. So there is a photo on the left of the boys at the event, and then also on the left is the boys with their prize back at the house in front of my mom's car. And then over on the right, I add a photo of Eli holding up the Lego set that they actually put together, and then a photo of both the boys with the Lego set. I pulled out this wood grain because the sketch calls for a banner on either side, but I just wasn't liking the way that it looked. So I decided to stick with this blue color. I did feel like the blue matched the Legos better, and I felt like the wood grain was kind of out of place. I pull out my Stampin' Up! Banner punch to create a banner on either side of the blue paper, and then I just kind of cut the paper where I felt like it had enough space to tuck underneath the Lego paper and go out to almost the edge of the paper. so I only end up using one piece of the blue paper. I move the right hand side of the layout to the left so that I can line up the banner pieces with my T-square ruler. And then I cut it off and tuck it underneath the Lego pieces. And now I have the base of my layout completed. So I lay down the photos as well as that 3x4 card. I felt like the photo of the boys was a little too large, so I do decide to cut it down a little bit and just cut out some of the dead space. I also trimmed down the 3x4 card because there was a little bit of the other card hanging out. And of course, I run out of ATG, so I had to replace my adhesive, and then I am ready to adhere everything down. I'm just using my T-square ruler to make sure that the pieces are straight. I have the 3x4 card as well as the 3x4 photo, and I add the 4x6 photo on top of it. And then the photo of the boys that I decide to add on the left, I put up on fun foam. Once I get the left hand side down, I use my T-square ruler to make sure that the photo of Eli lines up to the bottom of the photo and cards on the left. And then again, using my T-square ruler, make sure that the photo on the far right lines up with the top of the photos on the left. I pull out my T-square ruler and measure that space. And this collection came with quadrant paper. So it's 6x6 paper, but it's 4 of them on a 12x12. And there was one that had Legos on it. So I decided to cut out a piece and add it to that space there. The sticker sheet had a couple of pieces of Legos, so I am adding them to my cluster. Down on the bottom right, I add a white Lego piece flat. I add a blue one up on fun foam, and then I add a star behind it. Then I have these sticker sheets that I picked up at one of the expos, and it's been a really long time since I've been to an expo, so I've had this for quite a while. But it actually has Lego pieces on it, and there is a really large Lego dude in one of them, and I actually end up deciding to use him. The Lego that he puts together does have a little Lego man, so I was like, I'm just going to go with it. The other sheet of stickers has a Master Builder sticker, and I really like the way that looked, but I felt like it was getting lost on the green paper. So I pull out the blue cardstock again and measure the Master Builder sticker, and then decide to cut the blue paper the width of that. And then I pulled out this tag punch. I picked this up at Hobby Lobby. It has 3 size tags on it, very similar to the Stampin' Up! Banner punch, but you do have to make sure that the paper is the exact right size. I cut out the tag topper, and then I added the Master Builder sticker to the far right of the tag where I wanted it, and then I trimmed off the other side, and I love the way that that looks. It turns out to be a custom tag. I do add some fun foam to the back of it, and that is going to be my title. I overlap that tag with both of the photos, and then I pull out some jute twine and add it to my tag hole. I did pick up this jute twine from Dollar Tree. I also have some glue dots, and I like to add those down so that my jute twine stays exactly where I want it to. Then I add a large yellow Lego underneath the Master Builder tag. Then I start working on the cluster on the left. I pulled out another yellow Lego, added some fun foam to the back of it, and added it right next to that really large Lego man. I then pull out my color boxes in yellow and add some yellow sparkly enamel dots around the layout. I also knew that I wanted to add something else to that Lego paper in the upper right hand side. I pulled out a sticker that says awesome and cool, wasn't really feeling that. Then pulled out a lightning bolt, didn't like that. And I also tried a camera, and I just wasn't liking any of that. I then found this black piece from the sticker sheet that says masterpiece on it. And then I found this smaller card that says super cool, and I cut it out and added it right above the masterpiece. So there's a section that says super cool masterpiece. And then I added a yellow enamel dot in that area. I then pulled out my color boxes in blue, and these are the enamel dots that are actually more of like a matte color, but there is no adhesive to the back of it. I have no idea where I got these, but I love them so much. But I always do have to pull out my glue dots to adhere to the back of them or use liquid glue. I then pulled out my color box in green and also added green enamel dots to the clusters as well. And then that is it for this video. Here is my final layout as well as some close-ups. I did journal off camera, and my journaling just says, Eli and Dominic had a wild adventure at a scavenger hunt, dashing through downtown Winter Haven to hunt for treasures. Their reward, a shiny set of Legos as their victorious loot. And then I added the date of July 20th, 2019. I am so glad that I have been following along with Nicole for this Dark Side Challenge to be able to get these stories documented. At the very end of the video, I will link the playlist to the Dark Side if you want to check it out and follow along with Nicole and I as we make sure that no stories are left untold. Alright, if you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.